welcome back to The Average Kitchen. Today I'm going to show you how to make a ham bone soup from a ham bone that I cooked a while ago and actually froze. I never throw that type of stuff out because it makes an amazing base for a soup. So you can see this massive guy here, right here. So I had vacuum sealed him, so I'm just going to throw him in this cast iron pot I have. And that's going to be the basis or the starting point of this amazing soup that we're going to make today. So you can see there, so that was a massive bone-in ham shank that I smoked on my Traeger smoker. So normally I'd probably like to do this in a slow cooker and just let it simmer all day, but because of the monstrosity of this bone, it wouldn't fit. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna build my soup in this massive cast iron pot, and once I'm done with the bone and get rid of it, I may end up dumping it into a slow cooker. I may just simmer it on the stove. I'm not too sure yet. But basically what we're gonna do is start adding just a can of corn. I'm gonna throw in a full, just over a cup of these little tiny small seashell pastas. I'm gonna put those in as well. I'm gonna put in probably 8 to 10 cups of chicken broth. There's 4 cups to start. So I'm gonna get that poured in as well, and then I'll make another bunch as well. And then I'm gonna throw in some beautiful thyme that we grew this summer, or this past summer in the garden, and then my wife actually hung and let it dry. So I'm just gonna throw those sprigs in there like that. It's gonna be spectacular. Oh, made a bit of a mess of my cutting board. Don't wanna waste that. We'll get that right into the soup. Probably throw in about 2 tablespoons of dried parsley. If you have fresh, even better. Gonna chop up some carrots, some potatoes, and some onion. And of course, salt and pepper. And I also have some of the smoked ham from that ham bone here that a little bit later in the cook of the soup, I'm gonna cut up and put it in the soup. And the reason I'm gonna wait is because if I put it in right now and simmer it all day, I don't want that ham to get tough. I want it to stay nice and tender the way it is. So I think I'll wait right till the end and then add that ham. So I'll put in a pretty generous amount of salt and pepper, and then we're gonna start working on our veg here as well. So we've got no knife. This usually helps when you want to cut veg. So I'm just gonna chunk up some onion, and we'll get that into the pot. Everything goes in, and then we're gonna peel a couple carrots. So the carrots you can cut however you like, doesn't really matter. But if you don't, what you don't want is for them to not be sort of uniformed in their size. So I want them to somewhat be consistent, and I don't want a massive chunk here and then a little chunk here and there. So I think what I'll do is split that down. That's not too bad, and then I'll just start chunking like that. There. So we'll throw those carrots in and we'll do up our other one. So you'll definitely see, in this case with myself, with this massive ham bone, is I'm giving up a lot of real estate in my pot to the bone, but it makes such a difference when you're stewing down a bone to release all that flavor as well as that gelatinous materials that is within the bone and the fibers around it, which really kind of almost helps not thicken up your soup, but give it a little bit of viscosity to it. So the other carrots, so you can add more or less carrot if you want, but I think that's a pretty good amount. So we got some potatoes here. You could just wash them with a brush, but I think in this case here, I'm just gonna give them a quick rough peel. And then what I'll end up doing is chopping them up and give them a quick rinse just to get some of the starch off. Just gave the potatoes a quick rinse. You'll obviously see that I don't have a ton of potato here, but because I added that little bit of pasta, I don't think we need a ton of potato, but I roughly want to try to cut these into, half-inch cubes roughly. And I'll do that for all of these small potatoes that I have. Potatoes are all sliced up. Again, pretty consistent across the board in size. And besides presentation, which obviously is one thing, that you want them to look the same, you also want them to all cook the same. So if you had a big chunk of potato versus a little tiny chunk of potato, then they would cook at different rates. And it's possible if you're chunk of potato, was too big, it may not cook at all depending on what size it is and how long you decide to cook your soup for. So we'll just continue to add our potatoes here, and then we're gonna add in another 4 cups of broth and see where we're at, and we may need to add a little bit more. I'm also gonna throw in 2 bay leaves. So we'll drop those in as well. So I got my 4 cups of chicken broth that I made, or chicken stock. So we're just gonna dump that in over top, and we'll see how we're doing as far as a level here, if we need more. And I probably will do another 2 cups. I'll do 2 more cups of this chicken broth, and I think that'll get us at a perfect level. All right, so the last 2 cups, we'll dump that in there. That's perfect. I may just use my spoon here and just give this a quick stir. And then we're gonna get that onto the stove, and we're going to just get it simmering. Real nice and easy, nothing too crazy. But already, I don't know about you, maybe I'm a little bit biased, I think it looks amazing, and we haven't even really started cooking it yet. So you'll see with this, all of the little stems will eventually come off, and then you'll just be left with the stick, and we'll pull that out because obviously nobody's gonna eat that. So I just fired up the stove. So I'm gonna bring that to a light simmer, and we're probably gonna simmer that for 3 or 4 hours.
3 hours later.
The soup is looking amazing. You can see it's just bubbling, and that's kind of what I wanted, just a light simmer. In a little bit, I'm gonna pull that bone out. I've got some beautiful chunked up ham here that I'm gonna add, but again, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I'm only gonna add it right at the end. I'm actually gonna add it as soon as I turn the heat off. I'm gonna add that ham, and then the soup's gonna be done. I may top up with a little bit of water to compensate for that bone, but that is your ham bone soup. Super hearty, beautiful meal in the fall or in the winter, or really for whenever. Freezes amazing. Hope you try it. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and we'll see you on the next episode.